So we are live now. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the fifth day of Diversion 2K23. I am Ishita Biswas from BCA second year. I am the info team lead and your host for today's session. I hope you all are enjoying open source extensively. Now, how about some insights from an expert to help you with the upcoming days and hackathons? Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today's session, Mr. Soumik Nandi. With extensive experience in the field, they have been a key player in software development. His innovative ideas and technical expertise have earned them recognition in the industry, and they bring with them valuable insights and perspectives that are sure to inspire and educate us all. Please give us a warm welcome to Shomik Nandi. Hello, sir. So, let me introduce you. Mr. Nandi is a software engineer at Amazon for the last 2 years. He graduated from IEM itself. Feels like home, isn't it? He was a machine learning head at IEM ITC. He did an image processing internship from CDAC, Kolkata, and he was a software engineering intern at Rebecca Technologies. Apart from that, he is an award recipient for 90% plus in AISSCE, has 3 stars on CodeShell. He was among the top 500 coders in 70,000 participants on Hack with Infi 2020, Infosys India, etc. He was also a machine learning facilitator at NIT Durgapur. He loves TSA, full stack development, and machine learning. Welcome to Diversion 2K23. How are you feeling?
Hi Ishita, hi everyone present in the show. It's good to be back. That's the least I can say right now. And thank you, Diversion, and the entire team for giving me this platform. I look forward to interacting with all of you. Yeah, thanks for the warm welcome, also, Ishita.
Thank you so much. So, it is our honor to be honest. So, let us start with today's session. So,
Yes,
we will start with the questions. The very basic one, which we all want to know: how does it feel to be back? Like once you were in IEM as a student and now you're a speaker. Can you please introduce yourself?
yes, sure. Since Ishita has already told about me, I'll just add few more points. So I've been working with Amazon for almost 2 years now. I work as a software development engineer, an SDE, an SDE1 to be very specific. 2 years back, I was, on the other side of the table. I'm a 2021 graduate from IIM Kolkata. I was a BTech guy in computer science and engineering. It feels very warm. It feels very good to be back again, interacting with my juniors, uh, interacting with the people, interacting with all of the guys associated with IM. IM is the place from where I graduated, where I made friends, I made memories. My basic learning happened there, and from there you know, it's going on till now, and I hope that it will be a never-ending endeavor in the tech field that I am right now. So yeah, I'm too excited. That's the uh, thing that I would say right now. I'm very excited to interact with all of you. And I also really, really think you will get a little bit of insight, a little bit of expertise, a little bit of knowledge on whatever I hold right now in my bucket. So a little bit of everything that I know I would share it with you guys. I hope you will benefit from this podcast.
Sure, we will, sir. So, the basic question which everyone wants to know after getting to know you is how did you get an internship at Amazon?
Oh, okay. So I guess this is a very frequently asked questions that I've been getting from a lot of people since a long time. People still ask me this question every time, I interact with my juniors. Yes, so this was actually a part of a pool campusing going around in West Bengal. So we were being notified that Amazon will be hiring for interns. It was probably during the month of September, and the drive was about to happen during the month of October, I guess. So we were informed by our TPM, our placement coordinator in the college, and we were being asked to fill out a form and everything. We were being intimated about the dates and everything. So uh, it was there were few rounds. There was an online assessment round, wherein multiple people from multiple different colleges across West Bengal took participation. If I'm not wrong, there was around, I guess, 16 to 17 different colleges that were participating in the online assessment of the same. And then, after that initial screening and everything, we went through few rounds of technical interviews and stuff, and then that helped me. That's the way I landed my first internship at Amazon.
That's wonderful. I hope that has, promoted this eager to join Amazon to many different people who are watching this right now. So, from an internship to a full time software engineer, how was the journey?
That journey was full of ups and downs, I would say. So whenever being a student, you work on, your projects and stuff, be it final year projects, be it personal projects. The time you enter this corporate industry, the time you enter a real company, a real organization during your internship or during your, placements, after your placements, uh, you get to know that things are not very straightforward as they look like. So uh, there are multiple systems involved, multiple filters involved. There are multiple granularities involved, because if you are talking about a very big organization, maybe one like Google or
Mhm.
Amazon, where
Yeah.
the customer impact is huge, because these systems are used worldwide. So it's not something that, so we call it TPS, that is transaction
Okay.
per second. That's a technical lingo for the same. So the TPS is very high, and these systems are very heavyweight. So whenever enter into the software industry as an intern, the learning curve is very, very steep. You need to grasp a lot of things in a very comparatively shorter period of time. Let's say you are interning for 2 months or 6 months. In my case, it was a 6-month internship. So
Hmm.
the initial 2-3 months, it was very hectic. Very I was very confused with what needs to be done. I was not having a very clear goal for me, like this is the thing, this is the task, and things like that. So I would say that whenever you are entering for the first time as an intern, be
Hmm.
prepared to like ramp up as quickly as possible. Be prepared to learn more and learn fast. Be hungry, and for the first few months it will be hectic, but trust me, at the end it's all worth it. You will really, really like the work that you will be doing. And obviously, once your work is in production, and people uses it throughout the world, that is the point where you will feel that all of this hard work was worth it. My product is being used by all the people across the world. So yeah, that's how the journey been from internship to full time, I would say. It was mostly ups and downs.
Okay. So, as we all know that Amazon is one of the big companies, so what do you have to say? Like, what kind of work culture is there at Amazon? Do you have a work-life balance?
Okay, that's a good question, I would say. So if you're speaking about the work culture, this is, I would say this is not a very generic answer that I have for you. Instead, that depends, from team to team. Some teams uh, has, not a very high TPS system. Some teams have a very high TPS system. So definitely the teams that they're having a very large system, very high weight system, very high TPS system, they would by default require more attention, more attention to details, more granularity, level discussions and things like that. So yeah, like the work life balance totally depends on the team that you are, and I think that's true for like not only Amazon, for all the companies out there. So like look out for the teams, and you can, if you are into a very good team, then your work life balance would be as like it would be very smooth, very easy, and you might be working sometimes 2-3 hours a day. That also happens. I've seen many people doing that. A few of the people I've also seen, they work around 10 hours plus, 10-12 hours plus a day. But uh, this doesn't last for long, I would say. Mostly it's again depends on the work, depends on the team, and yeah, things like that. Depends on the project, the deadlines. So, and overall, I would say work life balance will be pretty much sorted once get into higher positions in the software industry.
Okay, that's great. So after we hear a lot about Amazon and the work-life balance, so like now people are actually ready and they want to grab that place in Amazon where you are right now. So can you guide us on how we should prepare for Amazon or any product-based company?
Sure, Ishita. Okay. Firstly, actually, your voice was little breaking, Ishita. Let me know if my voice is clear, if
Yeah,
it's
yeah, your voice is clear.
perfect, perfect. Yeah. So, if I got it right, you are actually, mentioning how one should, go about
Yes,
uh,
yes. Like, you want me to
getting.
repeat the question?
Yes, that would be nice. Yeah.
Okay, so can you guide us on how we should prepare for Amazon or any product based company?
Okay. Uh, I assume that you're talking about the software development engineer designation, or like
Yes, yes.
similar on similar lines. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
So
SD1.
correct, got it. So from an SD1 perspective, if you want to prepare for any product-based companies or any companies in that sort, you will have to have a good DSS skill, because see, the very first thing that any company will test is your analytical problem solving abilities, because this is the something that you will do every day as a software engineer when you get into the company. So you'll you know they'll test you on how you can approach a problem, how you know algorithms well, how you can solve a complex problem simply in simple way, without getting into very fancier details and stuffs like that. So what I would prefer is, if you are if you are currently in college and you want to get into these companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, or any company of that sort, uh, follow the basics. That is, concentrate on your DSS skills. Try to solve more and more puzzles, and more algorithmic questions. uh, Try and make it a habit that uh, you should find fun in solving a complex project, a complex problem, or a complex puzzle. If you find that fun, if you find that find that kick, I think
Mm-hmm.
you're already halfway there. And I mean, just have this habit of uh, thinking, reading in between the lines, thinking out of the box, and practicing often, because at the end, practice is what matters. Even if you are like very good in DSA and things like that, if you don't practice enough, your skills might shed with time. So definitely, practice is what you need to concentrate more on.
Okay, so as you mentioned right now that we should focus more on solving problems quite easily and working on DSA and algorithm. So right now those who are in college, when it is in the beginning, we actually struggle with DSA and algorithms. So can you actually tell us how you overcame that or how you learned DSA algorithms?
Yes, sure. So, see, I often say to people that, mastering DSA is like going to the gym. So, whenever you visit the gym for the very first time, you see, muscular dudes roaming around here and there and, lifting heavy and
Yeah,
everything. And you are standing there thinking that you don't know how to do anything. You're the first, like you are the weakest there, sitting in the gym. So it's all about consistency. If you start with lifting a 3 kilo dumbbell every day, your body will get adapted to it. Then the very next day, or I mean after 7-10 days, you'll be able to lift 5 kilo dumbbell. Going about, you'll be able to lift 10, 15, 20. So this is the exact same thing that also applies in any type of learning in general, not only learning DSA or something like that. It applies to any sort of skill acquire that you will do in your future, or currently. So start with very easy problems. It might be like as easy as uh, finding the greatest number in a list. Might sound
okay.
very easy, but start with it. Just start with it. uh, as you progress into harder problems, you'll often get stuck, and that is absolutely right. That is absolutely correct. Nothing to be worried about. Just remember, whenever you get stuck, and if you're unable to solve the problem with all the knowledge you have currently, please go ahead and see the solution. There's no harm in that. Understand the solution, that's the more important thing. And try to find patterns. So human mind is very you know uh, it works very well when they find patterns. So try to find patterns and try to find similar types of question. Try to cluster questions into a particular segment, into a particular category. Once you start doing that, for example, let's say this question, let's say there's a question and you were unable to solve it, uh, and you learned a new data structure called DQ, and
Okay.
this using that DQ, you were able to solve it. So try to cluster that particular question into, maybe from a data structure perspective, or maybe from an algorithmic perspective. Let's say using DQs first in, or let's say using DQ and sorting the DQ, something of that sort. I'm just giving an example out here.
Hmm.
So if you categorize the question, I think you would find pattern more often. If you find patterns more often, I think every question eventually would be approachable, because you would be able to categorize that question into one or the other segments that you have done for the other ones as well. So I think consistency is the key. Don't expect wonders in 2 months, 3 months. uh, Try and be at it till all I mean, minimum around 8 months. Try and be at it around 8 months. You will eventually see yourself progress. And whenever you get stuck, don't be afraid to seek help. Go to one of your friends, have discussions, because brainstorming pops out more and more
Yes.
ideas and more and more
Hmm.
approaches. So don't be afraid to ask help from any mentor, or discuss amongst your friend. I think that is also a very key point.
Okay, that was lovely, like how you guided us into DSA. So, coming back to that, you have participated in quite a many hackathons and all. So, how was your experience in hackathons? Like, what you suggest to the people who participated in Diversion right now?
Okay, okay. So, see, hackathon is like a sprint, right? So, it's like you have 100 meter to run, and you have quite a few days to prepare for it. You have to run for it. and you have to complete the run and get to the finish line. Now, keep giving these attributes and keeping these all things in mind, I think hackathon is a very fast paced event that one has to go through. uh, there are quite a few points that I would like to highlight whenever you are participating in a hackathon. The very first point would be, I think, find a good team. And if you are with like-minded people, if you are with a good team, ideas pop out faster and they turn into realities faster as well. Also, like, make sure that your team has different diverse skills. So let's say you're building a web application, and you need a front end guy, you need a back end guy. So you hunt out for them. If not, if you don't find them, learn them by yourself, because if you can't find a team, you have to become the team. So
Yeah.
that's a very uh, like the first and foremost point for succeeding at a hackathon. The second one is definitely set your goals earlier, because hackathons is, since this is a very fast paced event, uh, you have to set the expectations that you want to cover by the end of the hackathon at a very early stage, as soon as possible. With that, I would also say, start implementation very quickly, and always build an MVP first, because an MVP is it's a minimal viable product, which is uh, and it's from, like, both, like, from the tech perspective and from the design perspective. Just build an MVP. A quick MVP helps validating the idea at a very early stage. If you have an idea and you want to work on it, and you are unsure, whether I will be able to take up the idea further and make a successful product out of it in the hackathon, I think MVP is what one should focus in. Start building very quick prototypes, and that will actually help you validate the idea, and help you take it further, or not take it further in that case. And also, like, take feedbacks often, because feedbacks are something that will eventually help build your case as a whole, eventually help build your product as a whole. So take feedbacks more often. If you can consult a mentor, please do that. If you have an access to any mentor who is in that field for quite a some time, he would be able to give you very valuable insights, a very valuable feedbacks on whatever MVP that you are making, on whatever idea that you are proceeding with. And finally, I think it's all about having fun. Whatever you do, have fun, because hackathons are those events wherever you work as a team, you work as developers, and develop a very interesting software, a very interesting product, which is your own brainchild. And I think that is very interesting to be done as students, or as professionals as well, because I've seen multiple professionals also attend hackathon. I think as a student, that is the closest thing possible that you will do. Once you get into the corporate world, you'll have your own ideas, you'll have your own brainstorming events, and you'll come up with a product. So yeah, I think just keep these point in mind, and I think you will ace an hackathon.
Yeah. So that was lovely, like how you shared your experience in hackathon and how we should move forward to it. So with that, I'll come to the question that Diversion has many newbies coming this time. So
Mhm.
can you brief them what is Git and how it is different from GitHub, because they are working on that?
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's very good that Diversion is also, uh, uh, enabling new learners to, come
Yeah.
and contribute.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, I would say. Kudos to the whole Diversion team for this. Uh, and yeah, so Git is, you can say, it's a distributed version control system. So uh, uh, moving aside from the jargons, if you, let's say, you have a project, you have a package wherein you are working, and you have another teammate, he or she will also work on the same package, making some changes into the package and stuff like that. So you two can use Git to manage the version of the software. So the package will ultimately be you know, being built in a software or something as a feature or something. So both of you can, you know, contribute in the same package, and Git will manage all these versioning. So again, like moving out from the lingo, a version is basically whenever, let's say, you have a package, you make some changes, you push it into you know, into the mainline branch, and there you have a new version of your software, because some functional or non-functional changes has been done on the onto the software. So it's a new version. So Git manages all these versions. So every change is called a commit, and you know, all these commits are managed by Git. Uh, and overall, it's a version management software. You know that, not a software exactly. It's a version control system rather, that you know, help in coordinating work among different programmers in a collaborative manner.
Okay, that's wonderful. So, like, after like letting us know about what is Git and GitHub, like, can you tell us how to push a change to an existing project?
Sure. Also, like, I just missed the second part of the previous question. So,
Mm-hmm.
GitHub, right?
Okay.
So, GitHub
Yes,
is
yes.
basically it's an internet hosting service. So basically, GitHub has servers and stuff where you know, keep Git repositories. So Git repositories are the different you know, packages wherein this version control has been enabled, and you can track all of it. So GitHub is nothing but, you know, let's say GitHub is a GitHub provides you a layer over the Git version control management with some own features of their own for, let's say, you know, a UI, and you know, managing different let's say you can view the diff and everything in an interactive manner. So GitHub is nothing but uh, a software with Git inside it, with Git enabled, with some other extra features as well. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, coming to the next question, Nishita, I guess it was
How do
like,
you push a change to an existing project?
correct. So basically, whenever there is an existing project and you want to make a change, you first, you know, check out that package. Check out that package. You know, it's done by, you know, it's basically, you know, a clone of the same package that is up in the server, is made in your local system. You make the changes in your local system using whatever language, whatever ID you want. After doing that, you know, test your changes, you validate your changes. Once you are done with the changes, you you know, give a pull request. So something, a pull request is a request to the reviewers. A reviewer might be a senior engineer or your teammates for that matter as well. So you ask them to review your changes. That means whether these changes, you know, so basically, every set of eyes will ensure bug free code ultimately. So you basically, you know, once you test from your side, you ask them to review. So they also go through all of your changes, and they go through all of your details, whatever you have done in the as a part of your change, and they merge it in the main line. So main line is nothing but the main uh, branch that generally you know, people follow, and the main line is the branch that contains the actual software. So we have feature branch, we have main line, and anyone can, you know, test their features in a different branch. So it's all, you know, a part of what Git offers, you know, branching and everything.
Okay. So, talking about push changes, like, can you tell us about what is the flow of contributing to a project from forking it to raising a successful PR?
Okay, got it. So yeah, this is something I think, again, uh, people who are new to you know, collaborative software engineering, they would understand that they need to understand actually that a good PR, that is a good pull request, will have to have a lot of things. You know, you can't just, you know, just make a change and raise a PR. For example, this also has its own learning curve. I would say, you know, experienced. I have seen very beautiful PRs in my during my work here at Amazon. So I'm also like constantly learning every day how to raise a very perfect PR. But there are few pointers I think that might be handy for new people who are raising PRs for the first time. The very first is being the size of the PR. So a huge PR is not desirable. So what you have to do is you need to modularize your code into very, very short functional components. So let's say you have a PR of 1,000 line changes. So a long PR will increase the chances of bugs. It can increase the chances for the reviewers to skip a certain part, skip a certain portion, and oversee the bug in it and everything. So always keep your PRs very small, like around 100 200 line code change is fine, but try to keep it smaller than that. So it's an art, having breaking large PRs into very smaller ones. It's an art without like breaking the software, definitely. So let's say you have some few changes in multiple classes, you can have very very small PRs with little functional changes, which are concised into a single block or within one or two classes, and you can make it one PR. So similarly you can break multiple big PRs into small one. That is definitely number one. The number two is the title and description. So whatever PR that you would be raising, make sure to have a very specific elaborative writing, a description of what you have changed, why you have changed, how did you test it, and what implications it would have if it goes into production. So that is a very very important thing, because don't expect people to know the history of the software, because new people come in. When they start reviewing, you should you should give them the entire context of why this change, what will happen after this, what will happen if we don't make this change, so that they don't have to go elsewhere hunting and getting context of this particular change that you have made. So that is definitely one point. Title and description should be crisp, elaborative, and it should be friendly, like very friendly, that any new people, if they come, they could get a hold of what is going on here. The third one is, if you are, let's say, introducing a new feature, right? So don't forget the tests. Tests are very important in any change that you make. A tests basically, I'm talking about unit tests, to be very specific. So unit tests are tests that cover a particular functional class, a particular method, or something of that sort. So please, you know, go ahead and provide the test as well, because they are important. They will check the validity of the flow, the viability of the flow as well. So you should always, make it a habit whenever you are raising a CR. If you are making any functional changes, make it a point to, include tests as well. Definitely, the fourth point being, look out for coverage, look out for bugs. Coverage, as in, again, test coverage. So let's say you have 100 lines. Out of those 100 lines, how many lines are actually covered? So if you say that 50% lines are covered, that might do, but it's generally advised that you cover more often, if possible. Why not cover all of the lines? That will
Yeah.
help uh, like help reduce the bugs and anything that might break in production, and that is a very good practice, that I would say. And also lastly, like, if you are coding out a software, or if you are coding some functional changes, if you're making a new class, try and follow the laid out practices, like solid principles, or let's say, some if you're making some kind of functional changes, wherein you are calling an API and doing stuff with the response, and calling it, try focusing on the latency. Like, if I'm calling this API, what is the latency that I would get? How will it affect my software? How will it affect my current flow? Try and explore more, and try to answer, like, think yourself as a reviewer. If you think yourself as a reviewer, you would mostly get all these points right, and follow design patterns wherever applicable. And I think, yeah, pretty much these are what you would tools required for you to raise a perfect CR.
Okay,
Okay,
that's
by the way,
wonderful.
CR is also like PR. So in Amazon we call it CR. It's a change request. So like don't get confused. CR is same as a PR.
Okay, okay. So, coming to my last question, how the version control is done in big tech companies like Amazon?
Okay, so I guess this applies again to in generally all the companies, and not only Amazon. So they have a wrapper, a level, a layer on the basic Git that people use. So that layer contains all the you know uh, essential tools that are required to minimize whatever bugs, whatever inconsistencies that one might have. For example, if I give you an example, we have something called code coverage check. So whenever you are raising a CR, whenever there is a version controlling happening, like whenever you are raising a CR and stuff, so the entire code gets scanned for bugs, for any check style issues. So check style is nothing but it helps in maintaining coding standards. For example, one such standard is any line should not be having more than 120 characters, or any line should not be like any a line that you're writing should not be having more than 120 characters. And you should be, let's say, using one such coding guideline is also that you should be using less than 5 parameters in any constructor of any class. So these are certain tools that are basically on the layer above the basic Git versioning system, that is that most of the companies, I guess, have. So yeah, so it's a thorough check, from be it from coverage perspective, be it from buggy any buggy code. If you have written, let's say there's a chance of some null pointer being happening, so that bug checker will point it out to you, that here there's a chance that null pointer might be happening, please use null safe methods, or let's say like use optionals, for example. So these checks happen, and it's a very I would say very high bar for all the code that we write here in Amazon, or let's say in any kind of, I mean, software company. So they always have a very high bar, and I think most of them will have these wrappers over the basic Git as well. So yeah, that's how like most version control and uh, you know code accuracy happens at big tech companies.
Okay, wonderful. Well, it was lovely talking to you. Now we would like to take in some questions from the participants present here. So we already have a question, that is, how is version control? Like time travel?
uh, can you elaborate more on that?
The question is, how is version control? Like time travel?
Okay, so if I get it right, you're saying ki how is the like how does a version control system works?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's very basic, I would say ki let's say okay, forget about version controlling system, right? Let's say you are given a task to track every change in every line of a notepad. So
Mhm.
what you do is you ask every guy who is working on that particular notepad file that whenever you make a change, please save the file with the same name but in a different location. So every time that every time a change is being made, let's say there are 5 change that has been made into that notepad file. So you will have 5 files of the same name, saved in different location. Those 5 files are nothing but the versions of it. So exactly like that, Git versioning happens the same way. The Git software keeps track of every modification to the code in a special kind of database. So uh, it's not something As we say, like, it's not a file explorer or something of that. It's not a file based database. It's something that it's a very special kind of database in where, Git tracks all of this code. So whenever, let's say, you want to revert a particular change, or you want to go back to a particular version of the of the software, or of the code. Let's say you have made some mistake and you have, pushed that change, and the code has broken into production, and you want to, like, revert that particular change. So you just go to the, git version system and ask ki, I want this version of this particular software. And generally we keep an index using the commit id. So as I told in the very beginning, a commit is basically a change that we are doing to that particular code. So you tell git system ki, I want to go back to this particular commit id. Git system will go into this software in that special kind of database, and it'll give you that particular version of the code, that particular instance of the code wherein that commit has been made, just before that commit, what was the state of the code. So it will give you like that.
Okay. So I guess that's all with the questions. So we are almost at the end of the session, and as much as I want to continue this talk, I'm afraid the time constraints are strict. It was an honor getting to know you, and the insights you gave us are invaluable. It was a wonderful session. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is a small token of appreciation from our side. Let me add this. So,
Wow,
Soumik,
thank you.
this is for you. And I would now request you to kindly turn on your camera so that we can take a screenshot.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So let's take it. Thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
I'd like to thank you everyone for joining us. We'll end it here.
Thank you so much for everyone
Yeah.
who has joined today. Thank you.